All right, this is part 3 of the mammal notes, and we're going to focus mostly on marine mammals. So, marine mammals include manatees, humpback whales, and bottlenose dolphins, sea lions, sea otters, polar bears, as well as many others. We're mostly going to focus on whales, though, on these notes. So, for whales, there are two groups. There's baleen whales, which have baleen. It includes a blue whale, gray whale, humpback whale, right whale, minke whale. And then there's toothed whales, which of course are going to have teeth. This includes sperm whales, porpoises, and dolphins, as well as many other whales. All right. So baleen whales generally are going to be larger than toothed whales. They do not have teeth. They're going to have two blowholes, and they have a V-shaped brow to them, and they are filter feeders, which they use using their baleen. So, what is baleen exactly? Baleen is a material similar to human fingernails in what it feels like and its composition. Um, it looks like the frayed teeth of a comb. So now picture a really gross frayed comb made out of human fingernails, and you have baleen. The baleen's inner edge has is bristly to hair-like structures. And when the whale gulps in a mouthful of seawater, the baleen traps small crustaceans, and then the whale then closes its mouth, spits out the excess water, and then leaving the small animals stuck in the baleen. It then uses its large tongue to collect them, the crustaceans off the baleen, and then swallows them. So to me, it's kind of a gross way to eat. Right? Baleen whales have three different types of feeding styles. The first is the gulping method, or they're gulpers. They alternate between swimming or chasing their food and opening their mouth. Humpback whales are one animal that's going to do this. Some gulpers will use bubble nets to fish, and they'll work collaboratively with each other where one whale will create the bubble ring and then the rest of the pod comes in for the ambush. So they create this ring of bubbles like you can kind of see in this diagram and this overhead picture. And it just kind of confuses whatever prey they're after by trapping them and surrounding them with bubbles. Right. The second type of baleen feeding technique is skimmers. They'll swim with their mouth open, which and then once they get enough in, they close and go through the process. And then there's benthic feeders, which are going to feed on the bottom of the ocean, and gray whales will do this. Next up is toothed whales. Toothed whales are going to have teeth, of course, and they're not going to chew their food. Their teeth are not used for chewing. They're just used for grasping on slippery fish. They do eat fish, seabirds, and other marine mammals. They only are going to have one blowhole instead of two like the baleen. They tend to be faster swimmers than baleen whales, and they tend to be smaller than baleen whales. They are more social, and they'll live and hunt in pods, which pods are the family group. Toothed whales are going to use echolocation or sonar to detect objects. They will send whistles and clicks from their melon that's located on the top of their head, so right about in this area. They'll then listen to the reflected echoes that bounce off objects to the whale's lower jaw. And then the sounds will allow the whale to create a mental picture of the object. So it essentially goes out here and comes back in down here. Dolphins are actually considered a toothed whale. They're not they're a group within that toothed whale category. And killer whales actually belong to the dolphin family. So along with like a bottlenose dolphin, orcas or killer whales are right there with them. So they're a lot closer related than most people realize. Right? For narwhals, which are just an interesting animal in and of itself, they are a medium-sized toothed whale. They live only in Arctic waters around Greenland, Canada, and Russia. They're in the same family as beluga whales. The average weight of a narwhal is between 1,760 pounds and 30,530 pounds. Their tusk is actually a tooth. It's not like a horn or an antler, it's a tooth. And it grows between 1.5 meters and 3.1 meters in length. And only males are going to have them. Scientists are still trying to figure out exactly what the function is of them, because it can't necessarily be something for survival since only males have them. We know it's not for that. They do know it has nerve endings in it, but they're not 100% sure of what the actual function is of them yet. Right. Some behaviors of whales include spy hopping, which is when they vertically poke their head up out of the water, and scientists believe it's just for them to get a good look around at what's above the water. Breaching is when they jump out of the water, normally about 90% of their body will be out of the water when they breach. And it's possibly used for communicating, attracting other whales, or to warn off other males. Um, then there's tail lopping, which is when the whale will hit the water with its tail. And scientists believe this is to communicate with other whales. And then tail sailing is when they stick their tail up out of the water for long periods of time. Scientists really aren't sure about this behavior. It could possibly be for them to catch the wind and like help them sail through the water. It could be used to help cool them down, or it could help them, or it could be they're sticking it up when they're feeding close to the seafloor. They have a lot of ideas, but haven't really been like picked one yet. But anyway, that is the end of your mammal notes. Let me know if you need anything.